Okay, welcome, guys. This is section 7.2. Here I am, where we're going to cover factoring trinomials where a is equal to 1. What does that mean, a is equal to 1? Okay, fine. I'll tell you, trinomials that we're going to talk about, the type of trinomials have this form, ax squared plus bx plus c, where A, B, and C are constants. Remember, constants means numbers. So we're today looking at trinomials that actually have degree 2, which technically they're called quadratics, right? Because, that's just what they're called, specific trinomials. But of course, trinomials can have different degrees, but this one is in particular with highest degree 2. And yeah, so when a is equal to 1, it'll look like x squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so these are the two forms that we're going to learn how to factor. And don't worry, I'm here and we will go through this very easily. Okay, now the book teaches you a certain way. But I've been teaching a long time and I kind of have an easier, shorter way. So I'm going to teach you my way. And if you want to go ahead and look at the book's way, by all means, you're more than welcome to do that. But this is basically the root of what I do. Okay, you take the last term, okay, and then you write it up here and you create a little diagram, looks like a carrot, and you ask yourself, okay, what are the factors of the last constant term that when I combine them, it equals to the middle term? Okay, let's see that in action. Okay, and then these two are going to be yeah, they don't have a specific name, so we can call them whatever we want. We could call them magical numbers for all I care. Okay, so let's take this last term, 12. Now we're going to ask ourselves the question, okay, what two factors, okay, of 12 add up to 7? So I know that if we were in person, some of you would be like, Mimi, I know what it is. So if you guessed 3 and 4, you'd be right, because 3 times 4 is 12 and 3 plus 4 is 7. So then from here, the next step is super easy. When a is equal to 1, all you have to do is the first letter here is x, so it's x times x. And then since these are both positive, this becomes plus 3 plus 4, and then boom, that's it. You've factored it. Those are your two factors. So how can you test it? You can multiply this out using box method or however, FOIL or whatever you want, and then you'll realize you'll get back to the original. So let's try this again. Okay, last term, what are the two factors of 8 that when I combine them, I get 6, positive 6? Okay, so if you said 2 and 4, you're correct. So then from here, this is x plus 2 and x plus 4, and that is it, okay? So super easy way to factor. Again, this only works when, first of all, it has to be a factorable trinomial. There are some that are not factorable. And more importantly, also is important, it has to have no visible coefficient. In other words, a coefficient of 1 for the square term, the first term, okay? All right, let's do a couple more. So if you want, you can push pause and then try them and then hit play again so that you can make sure that you have this right. So, okay, so here we have y squared plus 8y plus 15. So 15. And what are the factors of 15? Positive that add up to 8. So positive 3 and positive 5. So then you have y, because this is the variables y plus 3, y plus 5, okay? So let's try the next one, u squared plus 11u plus 24. So then you have 24 on the top, right, the c. And then what are the factors of 24 that add up to 11, okay? So then you have 3 and 8, because 3 times 8 is 24 and 3 plus 8 is 11. U plus 3 and U plus 8. So that's it for that one. Let's do a few more. What if you have a negative? Oh, okay. That's interesting. You have a positive 28, but then you want to combine the factors so that it ends up being a negative 11. So what factors of 28 add up to 11? Well, you know, in order for two numbers to become a positive, but their sum be a negative, they both have to be negative, right? So you might not know that, but now I'm telling you. So the factors of 28, here we're going to use 4 and negative 7, because negative 4 times negative 7 give me a positive 28. But when I add them or combine them, you get negative 11. So this works out. So then now your factors are t minus 4, t minus 7. See? Not too bad. Okay, so let's do another more. 18. What are the factors of positive 18 that add up to negative 9? Okay, so that already tells you these have to be both negative. So then you have negative 3 times negative 6. That gives you positive 18. And combine them, that equals negative 9. So then you would write u minus 3, u minus 6. Okay? Not too bad. Okay, now let's do q squared plus 10q plus 24. So 24 positive, the power, the product. What are the two factors of 24 such that the product is 10? Okay, so let's see, let's think. Before we used 8 and 3, that was 11, so no. So how about 4 and 6? 6 times 4 is 24, so 4 plus 6 is 10, so yes. So then that would be q plus 4, q plus 6, okay? Oh, and this one here is 14. So what are the factors of 24 that when I add it together become 14? So then you would use 2 and 7, right? Because remember, so 24, what are the factors of 24? 2 times 12, I'm sorry, 2 and 7, I don't know why I wrote 7. 2 times 12, this was a 12. 4 times 6, 3 times 8, right? So it wouldn't be this. This doesn't add up to 14. This doesn't add up to 14. So we need to use 2 and 12. So we have t plus 2 times t plus 12. Okay. Let's do a few more. Okay, let's see here. I think we did the minus ones. Okay, let's see. What about if we have a negative at the end? Okay, so here we have negative 5, and we want the factors of negative 5 such that it adds up to a positive 4. So just make sure that you are aware of your terms, right? The signs. So negative 1 times a positive 5 gives you that negative 5, and negative 1 plus 5 is 4, so check. So then that factors into z minus 1 and z plus 5, okay? All right, and then, so next one, negative 12, okay? So negative 12, what are the factors of negative 12 that add up to a positive 4? So you kind of can guess if it's the product is negative and the product is positive, right? 4 is positive, but what you're trying, the product is negative 12 and the sum is positive, okay? One of them has to be negative, okay? So negative 2 times a positive 6, that gives me the negative 12, but when I combine them, it's positive 4. So make sure that, you know, your signs are correct and you're adhering to the rules properly so that it makes sense. All right. What about if you have a minus and a minus? So let's say here I have a negative 5 and I want the product of a negative 5, right? So that it adds up to become negative 4. So 5, the only factors are 1 times 5, negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 5, and then a negative 1 times positive 5, right? So which one of these is going to give me negative 4? The negative 5 times 1, right? So negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4, so check. So z minus 5, z plus 1, okay? So it's similar, right? So negative 15. So you have, what are the, if it helps, go ahead and, do this, here we have negative 3 times 5. If I add that, that's going to be positive 2. How about 3 times a negative 5? That's negative 2, so that's it. Okay, so this is going to be 3 times a negative 5. So then your factors will be q plus 3, q minus 5. All right, now what if, let's see, we did those. Let's do some with that has 2 variables. Now the only difference is that you have this y squared here, okay? So basically you're doing 36y squared. What are the factors of 36y squared that they add up and become? And then since x, the term is an x, we'll just consider it a part of the middle term, right? So this will be 12y. So it's the same thing. Honestly, the y's just come along for the ride. Still use the same logic where you're like, okay, what times what gives me 36 and what plus what? So 6y and 6y, if I multiply them, I get 36y squared. And if I add them, I get 12y. So that becomes x plus 6y, x plus 6y. All right, let's do one more. Negative 9s squared. So remember, the s's are going to come along for the ride. This has to be negative 8s. So s. Okay, so then we have negative 9s plus 1s, right? Because negative 9s times 1s gives me negative 9s squared, and negative 9s plus 1s gives me negative 8s. So that becomes r minus 9s, r plus s. And that is it for this section. 7.2, 63 to 111 odd or every other odd. Good luck, happy studying, and I will see you in the next video.